could a single prayer heal a heart shattered by loss? On the shores of Mi'kmaq lands, where the sea whispered ancient secrets and the wind told stories long forgotten, Kwe'sis faced a storm no ocean could rival. His story begins with a wound deeper than the tides, deeper than the ocean floor. Kwe'sis was a fisherman by trade, a man of few words but deep thoughts. His life was bound to the rhythm of the tides, the early morning launches, the creak of the canoe, the familiar drag of nets laden with cod and lobster. His hands, weathered and strong, bore the marks of a life spent at sea. Yet they had also once cradled a child, his son, Mik'jil, whose laughter had been the true music of Kwe'sis's life. 2 winters ago, everything changed. Mik'jil, only 12, had begged to accompany his father on a fishing trip. "I'm ready, Papa," he'd said, eyes shining like the morning sun on the water. Kwe'sis hesitated. The sky had looked unsettled, the gulls restless. But Mik'jil was persistent, and Kwe'sis finally gave in, his heart both proud and wary. They set out together before dawn. The sea seemed calm at first, as if blessing the boys' rite of passage. But by midday, dark clouds rolled in from the north, and the wind howled like a spirit in mourning. Waves rose higher, churning like wild horses. Kwe'sis gripped the paddles tightly, shouting to his son to stay low in the canoe. But the sea had its own plans. A rogue wave, massive and swift, capsized them. Kwe'sis surfaced, gasping, heart pounding, only to see nothing but empty water. Mik'jil was gone. The search lasted hours. Villagers joined, canoes combing the shoreline, voices calling out in desperation. But Mik'jil's body was never found. Only his small wooden pendant, carved with a bare paw, washed ashore days later. Grief consumed Kwe'sis. He withdrew from his community, stopped attending ceremonies, stopped singing the old Mi'kmaq songs. The fire in his soul dimmed. He no longer cast his nets. They hung limp and dry like forgotten dreams. The village watched with quiet sorrow as their once proud fisherman faded into a shell of himself. He blamed himself. Why had he let his son come? Why hadn't he read the signs? And above all, why had the Creator allowed it? Kwe'sis believed he had been abandoned by God. He no longer whispered prayers to the winds. He no longer believed they would be heard. One gray morning, heavier than most, Kwe'sis took his canoe out again, not to fish, but to lose himself in the mist. The fog curled around him like sorrow, thick and disorienting. He paddled aimlessly, his soul aching. "Why, Creator?" he whispered to the sky. "Why take my boy?" The sea offered no reply, only the rhythmic slap of water against his canoe. By midday, a faint shape caught his eye, a figure waving from a rocky beach. Kwe'sis's first instinct was caution. Strangers were not common, and the region was unsettled, torn by the conflicts of French and English encroachment. But something stirred within him, urging him toward the shore. He paddled closer. The man standing there was elderly, with a face that looked as though it had weathered many storms. His eyes held a warmth that pierced the cold. "My canoe was broken on the rocks," the old man said calmly. "Will you share your fire?" Kwe'sis, though wary, nodded. They built a small fire together. He offered the old man dried fish. The stranger ate slowly, then turned to Kwe'sis and said, "You carry a heavy burden." Kwe'sis tensed. "You don't know me." The old man's gaze didn't waver. "The sea speaks, Kwe'sis. It tells of a father's sorrow." For a moment, Kwe'sis said nothing. Then the dam broke. "My son," Kwe'sis choked, "I took him with me. He's gone. The sea took him. I failed him. I failed the Creator." The old man nodded slowly. "The Creator weeps with you, but your heart is locked. Forgiveness is the key." "Forgive who?" Kwe'sis whispered bitterly. "The sea. Myself. God." "All," the old man said. "Start with yourself. Mik'jil would want you to live, not just survive." He reached into his cloak and drew out a carved turtle stone, symbol of wisdom and endurance. "Hold this tonight. Pray your pain. Let it go." The myrtle and Mi'kmaq teaching symbolizes patience, protection, and the strength to carry burdens slowly across great distances. A reminder to walk gently, even through sorrow. Kwe'sis accepted the stone. It felt strangely heavy and warm. But when he looked up, the man was gone. The shore was empty. No footprints, no sign. Just the fire's dying embers. Was he a spirit? A messenger? Kwe'sis didn't know. But he couldn't ignore the feeling burning in his chest. That night, by the ocean's edge, he sat with the turtle stone in hand. For the first time in 2 years, he prayed. "Creator," he said, voice cracking, "I am angry. I am broken. I miss my son. I failed him. I failed you. Please, help me forgive." A verse from a missionary sermon long ago came to mind. "Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you." Colossians 3 verse 13. The words settled over him like a warm blanket. He wept. For the first time, the tears felt healing. Another verse followed. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11 verse 28. He sat there till dawn, watching the sun rise, feeling the beginnings of peace. The pain didn't vanish, but it loosened its grip. Over the next few days, Kwe'sis returned to the village. People noticed a change. He spoke more. He fished again. One evening, he gathered the children and sang Mik'jil's favorite song. His voice cracked, but he kept singing. He showed the turtle stone to the elders. "This helped me forgive," he said simply. "It reminded me who I am." He quoted another verse. "Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you." Ephesians 4 verse 32. Others shared their griefs, their healing. Around fires, forgiveness became a quiet revolution. An elder who had mourned her daughter in silence for years spoke for the first time. A young man forgave the uncle who'd once hurt him deeply. Songs returned to the wind. Healing took root where silence had lived. Hopeful tone. Have you ever stood at the shore of grief, unsure how to move forward? Have you ever found healing through forgiveness? Kwe'sis did. He learned that forgiveness isn't forgetting. It's remembering without the chains. It's choosing peace over punishment. He never stopped missing Mik'jil. But he no longer carried the weight of guilt alone. He carried love. And in love, he found God again. Have you experienced the healing power of forgiveness in your own life? Has your faith helped you overcome grief or loss? Share your story in the comments below. Your words could be the spark that lights someone else's healing journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more powerful faith-based stories. Let's walk this path of hope together. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34 verse 18.